much greater need in Akron that I can't see.
I could have eventually, stood up and postured myself in a very prideful way. You kind of lose focus. Sometimes you have to step outside of yourself. And how can we go refocus our attention on how we can serve others in this time?
And so I've just been praying, Lord, how do we see the people that really need the most help? The people that need groceries, the people that need encouragement. And so I thought of Kemp.
If there's a way for us to engage or to be involved, man, we want to do that. And I think that we've been transparent in some of the different events and activities that we've done, not only from the platform of Love Akron, but what we've been able to do now in partnership with other organizations.
Don't do anything else today. Just make sure that you love Akron.
Make sure that you love Akron.
Whatever you do today, wherever you go today, just make sure that you love Akron.
And early on, one of the things I said to Coach Kemp was, I'm an employee of Love Akron. We're going to do this black and white conversation, conversation versus collision. I said, Coach, if we're going to do this, and then we're going to get to that point where we're just rocking and singing Kumbaya, I was like, then can I respectfully ask that you count me out? Because one, if this is not a forever challenge or assignment, if this is not something that we're going to do forever, I just don't want to do it. I want to do something that's going to truly make impact. So I think it's important for us to make note of the fact that this is a commitment from Love Akron forever.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Love Akron Live. And so I want you to know out there, everybody that always comes on and they follow us with our Wednesday episodes of Love Akron Live, I have now given you a name. You are Love Nation. So thanks for coming along and being with us, all of our Love Nation followers. We appreciate you being here with us this afternoon in a very cold and frigid Akron, Ohio. We're coming together live. I get to see outside the window. It's really gray outside, but man, it's warm in our hearts. So we are excited again to be with you on today and to bring you just another episode of how we are connecting with change makers within Greater Akron to bring about their story of how they are making an impact here in Greater Akron. And we want to do that as well, like we always say, collectively. So before we get into our guests, I do want to kind of do if you will, an out of the tunnel just moment with you right here. And so this is an out of the tunnel moment with Coach Kemp. And what I want to say to you is this, this has been an opportunity and a season of learning. We just celebrated and honoring Dr. King on this past Monday. And it was beautiful to see the outpouring of just gratitude for his work, for his legacy, and all the things that are going on. But it always brings us back to this, though, right? Yeah, we honor him, we honor his legacy, but how do we keep ourselves on track to commit ourselves to the work that he started way back when, because the work is not finished? So how do we stay engaged enough with one another and engaged to his legacy, not just on one day for 1 year, throughout the course of a year, but how do we engage in his legacy every day of 2021? And we have an awesome opportunity to do that. And today is no different. Today is the inauguration of our next president, President Biden, and also Kamala Harris, who is going to be Madam Vice President. And so there's an awesome responsibility that we have even in this day, regardless of your political affiliation, is to celebrate what's happening, what's going on, but also to be able to say, hey, we understand and know that there are some tough challenges ahead for us all as a country and as a nation. However, man, what an awesome opportunity that we have to lean into this together, to be Love Nation, and to say, hey, like Dr. King said it, and he said it best. He said, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. So that's the opportunity that we have with one another. Not that we want to see each other as enemies, but even if we have differing beliefs or perspectives, man, love is the only force capable of switching us and transforming us into friends and into partners. And so that is a great segue for us to lean in and bring on our guest today, which is Michael Irby, who is the president of 100 Black Men here, Akron chapter. And 100 Black Men is a national mentoring organization that is all across the United States. And we are so fortunate to have a chapter right here in Akron, Ohio. Coach Irby, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Coach. Always great when the Lord can wake you up in the morning and get you out to bed. So it's a blessing to be here talking to you, my brother. I always enjoy talking with you.
Yes, sir. And we're going to just talk a little bit today. Me and Coach Irby, first of all, we go way back. We're brothers, we're friends, we're colleagues. But also Coach Irby, for me, professionally, man, has always been a mentor, somebody that I can talk to about different things that are going on in my life. So just great that we can have you on to talk about some of the things that we're doing going into 2021. But before we get to there, we want to reflect on how we just came together as two organizations, 100 Black Men of Akron and also Love Akron in our partnership. So, Coach Irby, if you can kind of give us some background on, man, how did this partnership between our two organizations really come about?
Well, it started when we had a little conversation about what was going on in the world today, some of the issues that we have in Akron and the George Floyd situation, and being able to connect in a positive way with the Akron Police Department in our community. When you hear Love Akron, to me means a lot, because I feel that to work for your community, you have to love your community. And that's how we feel as the 100 Black Men of Akron. So when me and you had that dialogue and talked about how we can make a difference in a community that we love, and, after talking with you and giving you my perspective and the 100 perspective with our mission in the community, and we connected on how we felt about uh, a lot of the negative that we can change into the positive by having these monthly dialogues about all sorts of issues. And so after that, man, I was pumped up. As a coach, you get fired up when it's game time. So it's game time here in Akron. So the 100 is ready to meet the challenge.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so what birthed out of our partnership was us really meeting intentionally and talking about, man, and it became a question that turned into a series of different episodes and say, hey, where do we go from here? Now that we've had the conversation, right? Now that we've had the talk, where do we go from here? And that became, if you will, not just a question, but that became almost like a culture of the episodes that 100 Black Men of Akron began to put on. So just give us some highlights of some of those episodes. You mentioned it before about being able to meet with the police force, the police chief, some of those high level leaders within our police department here in Akron. What were some of those conversations about, Coach Irby, and why were those conversations so important?
Well, it's just like, our focus is our focus is our youth. And the dialogue we had with the Akron Police Department was, it was totally positive. Some people tried to say, that the police don't care. They don't care about our youth. But during the dialogue that we had with Chief Ball and some of his other officers, bringing him on the Zoom, allowing some of our youth to be connected to the Zoom and being able to hear some of the things that was coming out of the police captain's mouth and being able to ask questions during some of our Zooms was totally positive. And we know that they have a big challenge. And one of the things that, Chief Ball talked about quite a bit was asking the community, how is it that the police department can connect with the community in a positive way? So the police department can understand the community and the community can understand the police. So that was one of the dialogues. As you remember, there were several things that we discussed about how can we ease the tension that the community have with policing, and how we can also connect with our youth and some other things that's going on in Akron and try to make a change with that.
Yeah. And it's never comfortable, if you will, to go into those type of conversations simply because, like you just said, Coach, you don't know what's going to come from it. You don't know if people are going to feel offended. And then too, there's a side that wants you really to lean in and really go after the police. But I've always appreciated, Coach, your demeanor and your perspective. And I would say just your character of saying, no, this is not about us attacking one another. This is about us helping to educate and make one another more aware of what's going on and what's happening. And I really appreciate it because that was kind of the first, if you will, discussion or conversation. But if I remember correctly, Coach Irby, man, the police chief wanted to come back and do it again because he said, man, he realized the importance of the moment. And so we gave another opportunity for some of those conversations to happen as well. What has been the outcome, do you believe, for 100 Black Men of Akron in doing these episodes of Where Do We Go From Here?
Oh, it's been great. With the 100 Black Men in partnership with the Love Akron has been great in many ways. We've been able to, number one, that is very important to our organization, is being able to expose our young folks with the Zoom that they was involved in. The other thing, we've been able to allow the community to understand a little more about the 100 Black Men in America, our mission, like giving back to the community, working with our youth, which is so important. one of the things that's been a huge impact, believe it or not, during this COVID is that we've been able to engage a lot of new Black men into our organization during the Zoom. We've had feedback from gentlemen that say, have felt that the partnership with Love Akron and the 100 Black Men has been so huge and so positive that they wanted to be a part of this. So we've engaged in with some new men in the community that brings a lot of skills to our organization. And not only that, these are men that are actually already doing positive things in the community. And when they, experience the partnership between Love Akron and 100 Black Men, it's like, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be able to reach out, do some work in the community in a positive way. And the engagement that they experience with the Zooms, with Love Akron and 100 Black Men it's been huge. It has been huge to our organization. And once again, it's been used to the community, because we're always looking for men to give back to the community. And that's what we do with the 100 Black Men. We have a little say about real men giving real time. And that's exactly what the 100 Black Men of Akron, we try to do that all the time. And this partnership with Love Akron has been huge to our organization. It has also been huge to the community. And it's just been a blessing that the Lord has put Coach Boyd in a position, a leadership position in this community with Love Akron to make things happen in this community and bring in the community in a loving way. It's been great.
Man, Coach, I appreciate those kind words. And again, none of us are doing this alone. I'm standing on the shoulders of men like yourself and women like a Pastor Lori Porter and a Bishop Johnson and the Steve Wilkes of the world and the Rick. So it's a whole bunch of people's shoulders I'm standing on as well. But you said something there, Coach, that I want you to go back to. You talked about having young people on a Zoom meeting with the chief of police. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. We had our youth. Most of them were high school individuals that were able to come on the Zoom, listen to the conversation that was going on with Akron Police Department. And the best part of it, they were able to ask questions, before they even got on to the Zoom, at one of our sessions at our Leadership Academy. The thing with our kids, we asked them, if there was something you would like to ask a police officer, if he was standing right here in front of you, what would it be? And so the youth was able to engage with the Akron Police Department, and they were able to give feedback. And we thought that was great. That was great because, our young people in this community are. I always say that if we're going to change this community, we have to change the thinking process of our young people. And they know when they can take you serious. They know when you're honest. And that engagement with Chief Ball and his staff was huge because of the feedback that they received from the Akron Police Department, questions that they felt, real serious about asking, and they got a response in a positive way. So it was great. The feedback from our youth after that was like, hey, can we do this again? Can we get involved in the community? And that's what the partnership of Love Akron and 100 Black Men is, to make a huge impact in this community. And I feel that we have to engage our young people in it, and they feel good about being a part of this. And that's huge to the community and our organization.
Absolutely. And you did something, Coach Irby, there where most of the time, because of the climate within our country, that would have been a heavy collision, right? But man, what you were able to do and what we've been able to do in our partnership is provide opportunities of connection. You connected the chief of police with young people and also gave the young people an opportunity to ask questions, which makes them feel valuable and valued and heard. And so that's the same thing that we've tried to do as an organization when we began back in June of 2020 when we started our connection versus collision, the black and white conversation. Because what we said was we didn't want to run away from the conversation out of fear or out of uncomfortableness, but how do we lean into these very tight, tension-filled spaces with a pure heart, with a heart that's willing to listen, to learn, but then also we can lead together. And so what we have been talking about over the past, I would say 2 or 3 months, Coach, is about let's let our partnership, if you will, really be out on the surface for the public to see. And with that, to our Love Nation audience, we said, hey, why don't we partner and merge our 2 episodes together to where it's about connection versus collision. Where do we go from here, right? Because here's what we know and realize is that we're now in a season of, man, we just inaugurated a new president, right? And our first female African-American Madam Vice President today, right? I think here in Akron, we want to have a new police chief. And there's a lot of transitions going on between us. But as these things are happening, what we said is how can we now begin the healing process of connection? Because we kind of spent 2020 and even some of 2021 colliding with one another, right? But how can we start to build the healing platform of connection and say, now that all these changes and transitionings are happening, where do we go from here as a result? So, Coach Irby, we're launching this new episode tomorrow. We're excited about it. We have some special guests that we're going to talk to intentionally. And 2, by the way, let me say this to you too, man. Happy Mentoring Awareness Month. You are the head of a mentoring organization here in Akron, and so your work and your service and what you're doing for our young people is tremendous. So just give everybody a sneak peek on what they can hope to see and engage in with us tomorrow on connection versus collision. Where do we go from here?
Well, our focus and you've been a part of this focus is that, going into the new year, we want to hit hard on housing and education, health and wellness, and economic development. So those are going to be a lot of things going into the new year that we're going to focus on. The partnership that we have, we're going to be given a lot of different formats where we're going to be bringing people in, having dialogue with them so they can share with the community on the new things that are coming in 2021 with education, how education will change because of the COVID. It has to change. And housing and health and wellness. Those are some of the most critical things that we have to address as a community. And with this partnership with Love Akron and having these virtuals once a month, we're going to be able to do that going into 2021.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as you talk about a new thing, Coach, I believe that it is about doing a new thing. And one of our guests that we're going to have on tomorrow is doing a brand new thing. And that's the Honorable Judge David Hamilton, who is introducing a new mentoring concept through his position as being a judge right here in Summit County, through the Compass program. So we're going to be able to take a delve in with him to talk a little bit more about it. What does that mean? But also how you, the Love Nation and Love Akron audience, can get involved in this. And again, we want to have these platforms so we can bring on different change makers and be able to talk about, to raise our level of awareness of what's really going on and what's really happening. Because sometimes we spend so much time, and I'm sure you agree with this, Coach, that we're so critical. We're so critical of what's happening. We're so critical of what's going on, and we'll complain. But man, there are some individuals out here in Greater Akron that are doing the hands and feet work that are change makers. And all we want to do is give them platform, raise their voice, raise their level. And that way you will know exactly what's going on out here and how you can be a part of what is going on. So we're really just excited. We're going to be bringing this to you tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. right here on our Love Akron platform. And we're just excited about this partnership and what that's going to mean for us throughout the course of 2021. And to Coach, we would be remiss if we didn't give a special shout out to the Knight Foundation. Really for encouraging us to continue to do the episodes of what we're doing, because when we first put this out, we wasn't looking for anything. Like you said, Coach, we just knew there was a need, But then, man, we receive a call like, hey, we love what you all are doing. And so the Knight Foundation, their support and their encouragement to keep us moving and going forward has been tremendous. Coach, man, before we get off, man, or before you leave, would you have any just words of encouragement, any parting thoughts that you have for our audience?
Well, I would like to say that moving into 2021, we all have to stay positive. I will say it again, and I say it all the time when I'm speaking, wherever it is that we must spend a lot of time with our youth. We must engage with them. We must make them be a part of whatever's going on, get them involved in the solution, because without our youth and without us going the extra yard to change life in our young people, we're going to miss the ball. We're going to miss the ball. And so, it's something that we always say. And if you would ever run into one of our kids and they have on the 100 Black Men Leadership Academy t-shirt, if you look at the back of it, it says one thing: what they see is what they'll be.
Man, that is absolutely true. Man, Coach Irby, thank you so much for your time and being on with us today. And we are excited about the partnership, and we're definitely excited about what we're going to be doing tomorrow night, brother. So thank you, man, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
Take care now.
Yes.
So Love Nation, this is what we do. We want to help to bring you the change makers, the events, the episodes, the campaigns and the initiatives that are going on here in Greater Akron. And Coach Irby and 100 Black Men of Akron are just another example of that. We also want to acknowledge all of the partners that we have that are in our Love Akron community and family. We thank you so much for your support. We thank you for continuing to allow us to lean in and partner with you in your vision and your mission. Also, just want to send a special shout out. I get to meet and be with a lot of different people each and every day, and I get to hear the hearts of people and really what they're looking to do and wanting to do. And today was no different. I was at a meeting with some area pastors and also parachurch leaders over in the southeast corridor of Akron. And they were just talking about, man, what they are wanting to see. Listen now, this is mind blowing. They were talking about what they wanted to see, not in their organizations. They were saying, hey, this is what we want to see on the southeast corridor of Akron. And we was able, Love Akron, to play a role with connecting and convening different meetings with these pastors, parachurch leaders in the southeast corner of Akron. And they're not the only ones. There's probably another 10 that need to be involved in some of these meetings, and you'll get information about that. But it was a beautiful thing to see people who are really saying, no, man, what can we do to really help to love Akron from the positions that we have and the resources that we have. It was just great being in the midst of their meeting and just being a fly on the wall and being able to listen, because I really believe this is what's going to really birth forth this year. It's going to be more connections. It's going to be more people convening and collaborating and really partnering together with each other, because there's a whole lot of people who are change makers here in Greater Akron. Some know each other really well and some don't know each other at all. But we believe from our role here at Love Akron, it's our responsibility to help to connect those dots with people. And we won't stop doing that work. That's the work that we're going to continue to do. Not just myself, but I have a team of people who do a lot of things to really put out a lot of good things. And we were in a meeting yesterday, and it was one of our team members, Allison, said, "Man, you guys do a lot of stuff." And a lot of times when you're in it, you don't think about all the stuff that you're doing. You just do it because, man, that's a part of your being. And if you remember, we talked about this months ago, the being versus the doing culture. And we want to make sure here at Love Akron that we are led by our being first. And based on what our being is, it's going to birth out what we do. And we have been, I think, very strict about following that type of, if you will, alignment. Because the moment you know this, anybody that owns or drives a car, you can feel and know when your car is out of alignment, because it will begin to either pull to the left or to the right. And so we don't want to be out of alignment to where we're pulled into things that don't line up with our being. And so We always want to make sure that we're staying in that good sweet spot and sweet space for us here as an organization. Just want to give thanks to our board and my board chair, Dave Beasley, man, who is awesome and just delivers really great support to us. And we want to thank you out there. We want to thank you, Greater Akron. Thank you for allowing us into your space, into your living rooms, on your headsets, on your computers, wherever that may be, to allow us to come in and to be a voice for those who are looking to have one. And so thank you so much for letting us in and being a part of what we're doing. And remember, you're Love Nation now. So make sure you come back and you be with us. And again, we can't do this from a silo perspective. We can't do this from an individual perspective. But the only way we're going to have the type of impact that we want is going to be through the collective. We want collective impact. And that's what's going to help Greater Akron to thrive. So as we always do at this time, whenever we're signing off and ending, we always want to make sure if you don't do anything else today, make sure that you love Akron. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening at 6:30 for Connection versus Collision. Where do we go from here? Thank you so much and have a great, great day.
Greater need in Akron that I can't see.
I could have eventually, stood up and postured myself in a very prideful way. You kind of lose focus. Sometimes you have to step outside of yourself. And how can we go refocus our attention on how we can serve others in this time?
And so I've just been praying, Lord, how do we see the people that really need the most help? The people that need groceries, the people that need encouragement. And so I thought of Kemp.
If there's a way for us to engage or to be involved, man, we want to do that. And I think that we've been transparent in some of the different events and activities that we've done, not only from the platform of Love Akron, but what we've been able to do now in partnership with other organizations.
Don't do anything else today. Just make sure that you love Akron.
Make sure that you love Akron.
Whatever you do today, wherever you go today, just make sure that you love Akron.
And early on, one of the things I said to Coach Kemp was, I'm an employee of Love Akron. We're going to do this black and white conversation, conversation versus collision. I said, Coach, if we're going to do this, and then we're going to get to that point where we're just rocking and singing Kumbaya, I was like, then can I respectfully ask that you count me out? Because one, if this is not a forever challenge or assignment, if this is not something that we're going to do forever, I just don't want to do it. I want to do something that's going to truly make impact. So I think it's important for us to make note of the fact that this is a commitment from Love Akron forever.